appreciate all that's in attendance. Thank you for being here. We always welcome the presence of our general public, and we welcome all those that might be joining us by social media as well. So we'll begin today by just noting that we do have a quorum established with all of our commissioners and support personnel present. And we're very glad today to have Chase Higginbotham with us, who's the student minister of Redeemer Community Church. If you don't know, that's the church that has started here right in the downtown Oneonta area, and is bringing a great new dimension to the downtown and providing ministry to a lot of folks here in this area. So, Chase, we're very glad to have you. I'm going to ask everyone to stand, and you please lead us in a prayer for our meeting.
Absolutely. I wanted to share a scripture before I pray, and some of you guys might be familiar with it. It's Psalm 118:24, and it says, this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad. It's just a good reminder this morning, so let me pray for us. Father, thank you for giving us this opportunity to gather. God, we're thankful for your grace, God, that this is a day that you've made. So Lord, let us, even today as we meet and as we go about our days, let us rejoice and be glad, for this is the day that you have made. And God, as they meet and go over this agenda and think about making decisions and planning, Lord, I pray that you give them knowledge, give them wisdom, give them discernment in terms of what is best for Oneonta and what is best for this community, God. You've appointed these leaders, and Lord, I pray that you would guide them as they lead this meeting, as they make their decisions. God, help them to do what is best and help them to abound in love in everything that they do. And God, I pray that everything that they do, Lord, would glorify you and bring honor to you. And we ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. If you'd please face the flag, salute, and pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you so very much. And Chase, thank you for being with us today. We appreciate you taking time to come, and wish you a great day.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Okay, gentlemen, I'd like to call your attention to item number 28 that has been added to the agenda since Thursday, and I think it's something that was just missed an oversight for District 1. Commissioner Armstrong, would you give a brief explanation there?
Yeah, we've got a dam that's causing some damage, backing up, getting over the county road. And first we just thought it was something in the pipe, but it turns out it's some issues with the dam on private property.
Okay, any questions about this addition? If not, the chair would entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as presented. We have a motion.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion second. Any questions? If not, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. And the motion carries, and the agenda is adopted for today. Number 4 is to consider approving the minutes from our February 10th meeting. And number 5 is to consider approving the claims for February. The chair would entertain a motion to approve both items 4 and 5. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
Motion second. Is there any question about either item? If not, all those in favor of approval of these two items of business, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. And the motion carries. So that brings us to item number 6, and we'd like to recognize our sheriff, Sheriff Moon, who was with us in the previous month's meeting to give special recognition to a couple of officers, and we have one officer, Officer Anthony Economies, that was not able to be with us then, and also our mental health officer, Kathy Irvin, who provides a tremendous benefit to the county through services to the probate office and to help manage all things to do with health care and mental illness and so forth at the jail. So, Sheriff, if you'd please make those presentations.
First of all, I just want to say thank you, Commissioners. Thank you, Judge Green, for allowing us to come back today and be a part of this. These two individuals right here are very, very important to what we do at the jail. Sergeant Economies is one of, if not the very best supervisor, and I mean, he is squared away, does his job so well. He has completed all of his training through the jail academy. I'm going to let Captain Atkins come up, if he would, and really get into the weeds of that and talk about exactly what it is that they have done. But like I said last time, I'm a firm believer in training. I'm all about making sure our people are trained up and doing the right things, because one thing that we know Commissioner Calvert, you understand this, that whenever you're in combat, sometimes plans can kind of go out the window, but you fall back on your training. And so, I'll let Captain Atkins talk a little bit about what all, Mr. Collins has been through.
Sergeant Economies has finished the Alabama Jail Training Association, all 4 of those courses, which is a curriculum based on jail services and corrections science, if you will. They're in conjunction with the Alabama County Commission Association, and they're all held at Prattville. For our guys to go through all 4 courses, it takes almost a year, and it's a little bit of work on their part, and it's some work on our part too.
But we're very thankful for Sergeant Economist working hard to do that, because he has really taken a very vested interest in his career. This is not just another stop in his job, in a line of jobs. He really has got teeth into this and loves his job, and we appreciate what he does at the jail. Thanks.
Okay.
We appreciate you, man.
Yes.
And then, of course, we couldn't live without Miss Kathy. She is, I tell you, if she ever decides to fully retire, I think I may retire with her. She does so much at the jail and so much for our county as the mental health officer. She is vital to the lifeblood of what goes on in that jail. You know, the state of Alabama, y'all know this, I'm not telling you anything y'all don't know, but the state of Alabama and the prison system, you know, we really don't have a great statewide system for mental health, and so it kind of gets dumped down onto the county jails. And, you know, that's one thing that we have in Blount County that a lot of counties don't have, is somebody like Miss Kathy who has an office in that jail that really tries to help people who have a need, who have a mental health disorder. She's helped me, and she's helped another one of our officers here recently with you know, directed attacks towards a couple of us, and she's made sure that myself and another deputy is aware of what's going on with those cases. So we're very thankful for Ms. Kathy and what she does. She is very, very special to me, very, very special to us as a county, and at the jail for all the hard work that she does. And so, Captain, if you'll talk about what it is that she's completed.
Yeah, Ms. Kathy's taken the National Certified Corrections Executive course, and that's from the National Institute of Jail Operations. It's a very big deal. It's usually that award accumulates a lifetime of training, schools, courses. You know, as we know, Kathy's got a bachelor's degree in psychology, so she studies us as much as she does anybody. We're all discourse.
When he says us, he means us.
I seen her looking at us. She had us figured out before she walked out here.
But just like the sheriff said too, I mean, I have 2 right hands, and it's Kathy Irvin and Francis Fringel. And if either one of them were gone, then I'd probably go to Florida too.
We do. We depend on Miss Kathy a whole lot. We appreciate everything you do for us at the jail. Thank you so
Let
much.
the chair entertain a motion at this time that would, to be spread upon the minutes of this commission, that our mental health officer Kathy Irvin and correction officer Sergeant Anthony Economies be commended by this commission for those achievements and accept our congratulations. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion and second, motion and second. Now, any comments or questions from the bench?
Well, thank you for your training. We training special here in the county for all of us, because we've all been to our schools too, and it's important for everybody. And Miss Kathy, I've known you for a long time, we'll just say that. So I appreciate what you do.
He thinks you forget him out of the hospital.
It is special hospital.
Any other comments or questions?
Thank you for what y'all do.
It don't go unnoticed, because we don't, you know, when the job's not getting done, we definitely hear it. When the job's getting done, everything runs smooth, and we appreciate everybody's got part. And I know it takes everybody to make it work, but when you called out for the job well done, it means a lot to us too. Thank y'all.
Absolutely. I'd like to point out too that Ms. Irvin, just for a reminder to us gentlemen, Ms. Irvin's salary and any benefits that she's entitled to in her position is reimbursed to us by the Blount County Health Care Authority, and that that is a very, very important partnership that we have with the Healthcare Authority, because Ms. Kathy is liaison between the probate office and mental health institutions of this state, and has a secure placement for people that have to be involuntary committed by the probate office. She also is a liaison from the state court systems and everything to do with the jail, and I understand what she provides down there and has an office there. So we want just to be reminded how important that is, and we thank the Blount County Mental Health Authority for assisting us in this effort. Ron, if you want to take a quick picture of them, I'm sure you do, and then we'll move on down the list. You got it? Okay. Okay, did you get them all posed together?
3 posed together.
All right. Kathy, come go over there, stand with them and get this picture.
Okay, happy occasion, everybody. Okay, good. Thank
Ron
you.
is smiling.
That's nice.
Thank
For your
y'all.
support and the kind words. It humbles me.
Yeah, thank you, Kathy. Okay, we'll move on to item number 7 on our agenda this morning, and that item is to consider Resolution 2020-0301 to recognize and congratulate Auburn Extension Coordinator Dan Porch on his upcoming retirement and his contribution to the Blount County community. Our staff has done a great job, Dan, in writing a resolution that I'm going to read to congratulate you, but I want to say before we even do that I know it doesn't scratch the surface for the service you provided for the people of Blount County in this area. And I want you to know how much we are going to miss you. You do a lot of things that you never get any recognition for, and we're going to miss you greatly. Dan's official retirement will be March 31st, just in time to take advantage of the prime crappie fishing season at Lake Guntersville.
That's right.
So Dan, let me read this. Dan, in 1995, Dan Porch received a Bachelor of Science degree from Auburn University, which was followed by a Master of Science degree in horticulture in 1990. And whereas Dan has been a member of the Auburn University and Alabama Extension family for 30 years, having held numerous positions through the years, and whereas Dan began his work with Auburn University as a student worker in the horticulture department, later was hired at the Alabama Agriculture Experiment Station as a horticulture technician, and whereas the following are some of the highlights of Dan's career and involvement in the Blount County community since the early 1990s. He became our area extension agent in March of 1990. He has served as the Blount County Extension agent from 1992 until 2005. He has served as the regional extension agent, serving in the commercial horticulture team from 2005 to 2007. In 2007, he began serving as the Blount County Extension Coordinator. He holds several leadership positions, including, but certainly not limited to, Educational Advisor for the Blount County Master Gardeners Association and the Alabama Fruit and Vegetable Growers Association. And this list could just go on and on. Dan, through his involvement with these organizations, has had a far-reaching impact to other organizations in the county, such as our Retired Citizen Volunteer Program, and again, the list could go on. Now be it resolved, therefore, by the Blount County Commission that appreciation be expressed and congratulations on his retirement be extended to Mr. Dan Porch, Blount County's Auburn Extension Coordinator, for his many years of service to Blount County, adopted this 9th day of March 2020. If it be the pleasure of the Commission, the Chair would entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
Do we have a second? Motion and second. Any questions or comments?
I'd like to say thank you for your service with the county, and when I was a kid, I remember going through your hunter's education course. But,
That wasn't long ago, was it?
no, I thought it was for you. You probably got grandfathered in.
So, Well, Dan is going to leave a tremendous void. Dan, I'd like to recognize you for any comments that you would like to make, and then we want to present you with this
Well,
resolution.
Well, thank you so much. First of all, none of that would be possible without the Blount County Commission and the members that have served in the past. As a matter of fact, your dad was instrumental, Judge Green, in bringing them here at Blount County. But it's been great. There's something in the water here in Blount County that if you live and work in Blount County long enough, either your hair falls out or it turns color. So, but I have been here a while. You were a kid. I did teach hunter safety for 12 years back long ago, and I still have everybody's record. Do you believe that? So if you ever lost your car,
Yeah, let's see the grades.
But it's been great. So many people to thank. I would thank everybody, but I would leave someone out. But my coworkers through the years have been great. Master Gardener program, and that group of folks have supported me left and right. The clients that I work with here in Blount County have been very supportive of me as well. So it's in the media outlets, Ron Golson, Wayne Shaddix, Tim Janley have always been very helpful, helping us get our programs out over the years. So it's just been a great run. I've enjoyed every minute of it. It really hasn't even seemed like a job. Because I have been doing it. So, but thank you so much, thank you, and I would ask for your continued support of Extension as they move forward from this day on. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. If you would, Dan, I want to ask you to proceed through this door on my left and come up here behind the bench, and we'd like to present you with this resolution and give opportunity for a picture with our county commission. Shake your hand, guys. Y'all get close.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Remember, I had to call about a tree was boogered up. I had to call you to ask us what we could put on it.
I remember that.
You mean you messed up?
Oh, we
All right. Well, it's a great pleasure we present Dan with this resolution.
One more time. Don't anybody blink, one more time.
I don't think your camera.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Thank you for everything.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good one.
Yeah, I remember making that phone call, walking up this tree, they killed me. They want me to replant it.
No to that, and I'm gonna announce it. That'll be in your.
I'm looking all over this.
We'll proceed to number 8, is to consider resolution 2020-0302 to congratulate the Susan Moore High School powerlifting team for a 3A state championship for 2 consecutive years, and overall highest point in 1A through 7A divisions. Do we have that resolution? John, would you read it, please?
Yes, sir. Whereas it is with great pride and pleasure that the Blount County Commission congratulates and commends the Susan Moore High School powerlifting team for winning the AHSAA State Powerlifting Championships Class 3A for the 2019-2020 season. And whereas this is their second state championship for the Alabama High School Athletic Association, and whereas the Bulldog powerlifting team secured first place in 3A and overall points total for all classes 1A through 7A. Whereas this group of student athletes is led by coaches Heath Lauderdale and Adam Wilson, and whereas the entire team contributed to this exceptional effort. Now therefore be it resolved by the Blount County Commission that in recognition of outstanding achievement, the Susan Moore High School powerlifting team and coaches be recognized for exemplary performance as an inspiration for current and future students, and hereby offered sincerest appreciation and encouragement for continued success.
Okay, and I assume that upon passage, Commissioner Painter, you will pick the appropriate time to present that at the school? Okay, the chair would entertain a motion to adopt this resolution. We have the motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions or comments from the,
I'd just like to say, I'm not aware of anybody winning 2 state championships in anything in Blount County. It may be, but to do that one time in any event is huge. But to do it 2 years in a row is just unheard of, and to also had the overall points total of 1A through 7A 2 years in a row also. Just want to put it in perspective that And I think you've seen the benefits on the football team last year, and I think you'll see it for years to come from the work they're putting in.
You saying something's in the water?
Looking for
I need to
great
go over there and drink
things.
some then.
Yeah. All right, very good. Well, we do want to extend this resolution of congratulations. Any further comment before the chair entertains a vote? Not all those in favor of this resolution, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. And Commissioner, please express all our congratulations when you have that opportunity to make that presentation. Number 9 is to consider approval of the citizen-centric report for fiscal year 2019 as prepared by our county administrator. John, you got some updates to share with
I
us?
made a few updates. I'm running out of colored ink, so I made one in black and white.
Okay, that's fine.
The major updates I made are in the second section there. I included the information about the storm shelter and accomplishments. And then on the last page, I included a real picture of Black Road, Mount Hebron Road at the intersection. And I included County Road 30, 38, and Royal Liberty Williams Settlement all in there. So I'll make sure that everything's lined up and all that, but no major changes from Thursday, just those couple of things we talked about.
John, I think you've done a fabulous job on this. This will be a great bit of information to share with the public. It will give us all tips from which we can share good information throughout the county when we have opportunities to speak with civic organizations in our areas. I think, Commissioner, we're going to have to work hard to top this one for next year because this is quite a list of accomplishments, some of which we've worked on for several years, but culminated in fiscal year 19. Any questions for John?
He done a good job. It's real good.
Well, the Chair would entertain a motion to adopt this report and commend our administrator for putting it together for us. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second? Motion second. Any further questions? Not all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. And that carries, and it is indeed a really good job. The Chair would entertain our county engineer for item 10, and Dustin, do you have a recommendation for us?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Each of the commissioners should have bid tabulations. Bids were opened on Thursday before the work session. One bid was received for guardrail and guardrail end anchors from Alabama Guardrail. It's my recommendation to award this bid to Alabama Guardrail.
Okay, you hear the recommendation. Do we have a motion to approve?
So
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions for Dustin? Not all those in favor of the motion second of approving Alabama Guardrail's bid, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. And that motion carries. Okay, that brings us to item 11, and we had guests with us in our Thursday meeting, Mr. Lester Hallman, and of course we've got guests back with us today representing our veterans, and we're glad to hear that they are in the fundraising work to try to sponsor an honor flight of Blount County Korean and Vietnam War veterans to a trip to Washington, D.C. to view those memorials. And, you know, back when the World War II flight was planned and carried out, we were in that stage of losing a lot of our World War II vets. And now as I think about it, our Korean vets are approaching those ages now, and we're losing a lot of them. My dad had just finished basic training to go to Korea when that conflict ended, and he'll be 86 years old this year. So a lot of the gentlemen that actually fought in that conflict are 90 or so, and so it's very timely. It's a great endeavor. So we have that request for a donation for the Blount County Honor Flights to Washington, D.C. And we discussed on Thursday authorizing our administrator, working with county legal counsel, to determine the most appropriate and legal means to support this effort if possible. So before we entertain any type motion here, I'd like to recognize legal counsel for any recommendation on this.
Judge, since there's such a difficulty with the county giving direct donations, it'd be my recommendation to amend your current contract with the Chamber in order for them to, they're in the business of civic assistance, they're in the business of assisting these type of efforts, and to me, that would be the best mechanism in order to accomplish the goal here. You could just, you currently give money to that chamber, and if you were to expand that amount, then they could be the instrument by which this is done, and it wouldn't be the county giving directly to individuals. That'd be the best recommendation for that purpose.
John, you were trying to contact the chairperson or executive director earlier this morning, is that correct?
Yes, sir, I haven't reached her yet.
Okay,
I'll
all
talk
right.
to her.
So, and I think as we look back, that was the recommendation and the way that we were able to legally help in the past. Would there be any question for legal counsel before we entertain a motion at all? Okay, so what we got to consider then, gentlemen, is one thing we did not talk about, and that was the amount that we would try to do to support this effort. And for any general public that might be tuning in and visiting with us, this is a charter flight from Birmingham to the Washington, D.C., Baltimore airport. Buses then that would carry our vets down to the National Mall and view these monuments, try to work in everything they could in a single day, maybe visit Arlington or other things, but especially visit the Vietnam Veteran War Memorial and the Korean Veteran Memorial, and then return actually on the same day. So it starts at a very early morning, gets back later at night, a lot of work and planning to go into that, but I know that was very meaningful. So, but we're looking at a total cost of how much, Mr. Cannon?
Total cost is $73,000.
Okay, and your fundraising effort so far has got you up to about 20, is that correct?
A little bit over 20.
Okay.
We went and did sports Hall of Fame for Blount County. We was out there last week, and we was cruising, and glad to thank all of them for their donation. We came up with $475 in a couple hours. People in Blount County gives, and I'm afraid to give. But we still need, more money for what it is. Our fundraisers ain't stopped. We still do fundraisers.
Okay, so gentlemen, we would have to need to consider an amount on that. Looking back, I think there was 2 appropriations of $5,000 each made in the for the previous Freedom Flight back for World War II vets. I'm not sure why that was broken into 2, but I think I'm right on that we saw 2. Would $10,000 be an amount that you'd like to consider?
I'd make a motion to consider 10,000.
Okay. All right. So would they have a second to that motion?
Second.
Okay. All that be in favor of that amount, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Okay. Now, the chair now would like to entertain this motion that the county amend their current contract for services with the Blount County Oneonta Area Chamber of Commerce in the amount of $10,000 pursuant to an agreement with them that they would be able to extend this help to the Veterans Freedom Flight. Do we have that motion?
So moved.
Have a motion?
Second.
And have a second. Any discussion or questions there? I don't think disquestions was the word. I almost said it. All right, if not, all those would be in favor of that motion then, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And the opposed, no, and the motion carries. Okay, Mr. Cannon, I hope you know how dedicated that this commission is to supporting your efforts to provide these services. Not only to make this a highlight of those people's lives, but what you do every single day. We have people that show up in this courthouse almost daily, at least weekly, that are searching for help. It's so good that I've got your number, I've got others' number that we can call and say, hey, we need to try to help this person, and you're there doing that every day. So we really, really appreciate that.
And they also have a man staffed at Hayden Town Hall every Friday, helping
Awesome.
out too. So keeps people from having trouble up here.
Yes, sir, you're recognized.
I want to thank all of you. I want to thank Dean Calvert for Rich, for Philip, and dedicated. But I know all you commissioners, y'all hold veterans dearly in Blount County. We try more and more every day, and I want to thank Judge Green for letting us have 2 offices in Blount County building. We do serve veterans every day. We pay light bills, we pay water bills, house notes, anything that we can help the veterans with, that's what we do. So we're going to still do that in Blount County. We've got 3 offices in Blount County, we got 1 in Coleman County so far, and we're hoping to have a couple more up there. We do thank you, Commissioner, for everything you do.
We appreciate y'all.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll never be able to give back what they give for us, for our freedom.
Okay, so any further discussion before we call for a vote? If not, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And if we already did that, I'm sorry, we just want to make sure we did. Now, Commissioners, you realize that I get a blame for a lot of things that's not my fault, and occasionally I get credit for things that's not to my credit. And certainly, you're the ones that's furnishing the office building out there for them. But if y'all don't mind, sometime me just saying thank you, I'd appreciate it. All right, very good. Okay, well, best of luck, Mr. Cannon, on continuing your fundraising efforts. Anybody that's maybe tuned in and listening with us today that would like to help this effort and give a personal donation, or if they would like to, their organization, civic club, or whatever, try to help you with this, who do they need to contact?
Amy Ruby.
Amy Rudy, the curator of the Blount County Memorial Museum. Okay, very good. Okay, we'll move on to item 12, and that's to consider approval of the request for the 72-hour Bible meeting marathon that corresponds with the National Day of Prayer on May 7th. We have a motion to approve.
Make that motion.
We have a second.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions? Not all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Number 13, all opposed, no. Okay, that passes by unanimous vote. Number 13 is consider authorizing the chairman for the execution of the DHR, the Department of Human Resources Agreement for the Almeda Robertson Adult Day Health Center here at the Aniana Senior Citizen Center. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions about that? Not all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. And the motion carries. The chair at this time would entertain a motion to appoint Ms. Jennifer Dean to fill the unexpired term of Dr. Stoney Beavers on the Department of Human Resource Board, whose term will expire in March 2021. Do we have a motion to appoint Ms. Dean?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Not all those in favor of Ms. Dean serving, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Ms. Dean is appointed. Let's take a moment, gentlemen, just to look at all these budget amendments, starting with item 14. This is for District 1, money received from the town of Hayden, from FEMA and FEMA. District 2 on item 16, sales to Progress Rail, some FEMA reimbursements as well. Number 17 is a District 3 Progress Rail receipt. Number 18 is a District 4 budget amendment for monies received from FEMA. Number 19 is to consider budget amendment for the additional pole pads we bought with HAVA funds. You previously approved that expenditure. We received the check already back from the state comptroller, and that purchase has been made, so we'd like to adjust that item. Consider a budget amendment for a specific donation of $30 to Palisade Park, and to consider a budget amendment for a sale of truck for scrap for Philip Quinn in the amount of $175. That's items 15 through 21. Would there be any question on any of those items? If not, the chair would entertain a motion that the budget amendments proposed in items 15 through 21 be approved. Do we have that motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? If not, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, no. Okay, 22 is consider an agreement that we discussed on Thursday with our municipalities regarding the use of county voting machines as drafted by our county legal counsel. Now, I know that has been drafted, and it just formalizes so that everything is legal. The use of those machines that are in ownership by the county or in the custody of the county through rental. Now, we have a second part to that, item 23, that I'm going to take separately, that would authorize and designate Mr. William Bly to manage those voting machines under agreement with any counties and municipalities. So let's take this as a two-part. First, by considering approving the agreement that has been drafted by legal counsel. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions for council regarding that agreement? Okay, if not, all those in favor of that motion second, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Now, 23 is to designate Mr. William Blythe to manage the voting equipment under any agreement with the county and municipalities, that for him to be compensated as in previous municipal elections. So, William and any staff that might have been needed had been providing this service. This will just funnel that through the county to keep everything appropriate per advice that we've received from the Alabama County Commission Association and Legal Counsel. Mr. Barnett?
I do have a question.
Okay.
That service is also provided for county elections as well, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and the individuals taking care of that are paid through?
So, that's correct, but they are paid just through the normal payroll.
Okay.
And that's been a long-standing
Right.
situation. It's been there, and it predates me being here more than 20 years.
All right.
Okay, so, did I entertain a motion on that?
Not yet.
Okay, Chair would entertain a motion to authorize Mr. Blythe to manage any voting equipment and elections pursuant to this agreement with municipalities. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a second motion, second. Any questions? Not all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Okay, we'd go to item 24 is for an update on anything to do with our Family Services Center Access Door Project. John, you might start us there, or is there anything further to add from Thursday?
I'm not aware of anything further since Thursday.
Could you just
They're continuing
recap
to work.
that, please?
The deadline is April 1st, so the end of this month. Mr. Blythe has been in contact with Latham and Associates to make sure that we can get this project done prior to the deadline, and they've assured him that they can. Part of the delay was related to the person that was managing this project for the vendor. They left the company, and so there was a little bit of delay there, but as far as I know from Mr. Blythe, they are saying they can get it done. I'll let him give details.
Just one update since we had the work session. Project manager will be here today to meet with me and go over this project, and we'll have boots on the ground Wednesday to start pulling wire. That's great.
Very good. Very good. Any questions? If not, we'll just spread upon the minutes that we've received this report and that project is moving forward. Number 25 is to consider authorizing the chairman to set a public hearing date regarding any offer to purchase land owned by the county on Highway 231 north of Rainbow Crossing. And the reason that we'd like to have this on the agenda for you to consider, gentlemen, is that we did follow through with the purchase of that property pursuant to your approval. The property is currently being surveyed and a parcel being cut out for the protection of the cemetery that's on that property. And we do anticipate, we have not received anything at this point, but we do anticipate that we will very shortly receive an offer to purchase a portion of that land that would be probably approximately 21 acres. So in keeping with commitments that have been made heretofore, we would want to have a public hearing to allow the community to give public input and for the county to give detailed explanation of what would be planned. And so in order not to have to come back in a special meeting, if this is all achieved in the next 2 or 3 days or in the next week, this would give the chair the authorization to go ahead and make arrangements and publicly advertise a public hearing to hear from the community. So that being said, I think before we entertain any kind of motion, that if we have any questions or comments from our commissioners, that we consider them at this time.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
In the event, don't know that this is going to be the case, but in the event that a 772 hearing is necessary, would this accommodate such a hearing, with this approval?
I'm not sure I know the answer to that, but I think it would.
I mean, it could, that's why I'm open the door to that.
Right. We don't anticipate entering into a 772 agreement.
Right.
But we knew that at the time we first started talking about this, and I made the commitment to the community that there would be a public hearing, we anticipated at that time that it would be a 772 agreement in keeping with Alabama Constitution. However, since that did not materialize, I still wanted to go forward with a public hearing to hear from the community, because I felt like that I had made that commitment and we had made it as a commission at that point. It's not a requirement at this juncture, but we would certainly want that to fulfill both reasons, should there be a reason for a 772. Okay. So in hearing from the one public comment on Thursday, request to have that hearing in the community, and at night, I would have no objection to that at all, to organizing that and moderating such a public hearing. Would there be any comments in regard to that request? Because I would need to know that, whether you wanted to strictly have that public hearing here at the courthouse or have it in the community. And Commissioner, I think it'd be appropriate for you to weigh in on that.
If we can find the right place to meet up there, that'd be great.
I actually think it'd be better to be in the community. We had this deal with Highland Lake going on, and I think there's a lot of miscommunication. I think it'd be better to have it in the community where you can gather as many people as you can.
So I agree with that, and I would, but this motion would be given the chair, of course. We would coordinate that date through and make sure that it was okay with our administrative staff and so forth, and then we get it properly advertised and get that set.
And also giving you the authority to wherever you deem
Okay, very good.
appropriate.
Okay, I appreciate that. Okay, any other questions before the chair entertain a motion on this?
Oh, we gotta have refreshments.
Refreshments,
Who's gonna be in charge of that?
Oh, wait, well, refreshments always in order. Okay, so number 5 is to consider authorizing the chairman to set a date for a public hearing, provided that we do get an offer on a purchase of land there on that property north of Highway 231, or on 231 north of Rainbow, and to further, in keeping with the recommendation made by Commissioner Painter, allow the chairman to secure an appropriate place to do so. Do we have that motion?
Make that motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion second. Any questions? Not all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Thank you. All right, number 26 is to follow up on some further discussion that we had on Thursday, and to authorize our chairman to commission Lathan and Associates to redesign the handicap entrance to the Frank J. Green Building pursuant to what we think is a current agreement we have with Latham and Associates for services. So we've not had time to follow up on that, but we think that agreement that we've already signed with them concerning that building would cover this. We would just need them, get them to look at it and give us some recommendations and maybe drawings that the commission could follow up on and make a decision about. Commissioner Calvert, is that what you intended in that?
Yes, sir, I think we gotta move forward on that. We have a, William, since he's here, can probably do a little better job of explaining it, but we have some failure of the concrete on the top. It's already dropped about 1.25 inches, which is a issue. If you walk along the walls of the ramp, it's pulled away approximately 3/4 inch, which the water is actually getting behind it. So we're getting a large settlement, which is what's causing probably most of it, all of it in front. So it's an issue we need to address very quickly.
Okay, so I'll be glad to make that call to get somebody on site. Of course, we'd coordinate that when you and William could meet with them and discuss the issue. Would be any other further questions or comments about that before the chair entertain a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to call this the Daniel Project. The situation that went on, and I think the agreement that the City of Indiana hopefully is going to go in with us on making sure that we get all these issues fixed throughout all of our buildings and the streets. That I think Mr. Phillips has spoken that I think they're willing to jump in there and let's get all these issues fixed. It's within our wheelchair accesses.
Okay. Okay, well, the chair at this time would entertain a motion that would authorize the chairman to make this call to Latham and Associates and coordinate them getting on site to do the design work and offer technical assistance on rebuilding that ramp and taking care of the water issue there, and that project be designated the Daniel Project. Do we have that motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
No motion and second. Any further discussion? Not all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. All right, 27 is kind of a companion to that, and that is to authorize Commissioner Calvert, our building superintendent, Mr. Bly, to do the work necessary to make estimates for improved handicap access to the Hayden Annex, to make recommendations to provide for an increased security there in that office for our employees, and to further look at the cost of repair and remodel expenses to the engineering office building. And I understood that would entail new metal on the outside of that building. And so, gentlemen, am I right in saying that y'all will work on this and get some numbers together and come back to the commission for approval in April? Is that what we intend to do here, or?
Absolutely, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Right now, the commission, the engineering office is under extensive work now, but the funding is very lack of where we need to finish up. I think it was around $30,000 the engineering office we've set aside for the last 2 years in our budgetary numbers. That number's going to increase, and like I've talked to William about it several times, and we hadn't got those together, but we'll work together within the next month maybe, and have all
Okay,
this brought
awesome.
back to the commission.
That'd be great, that'd be great. And I think the measures that we'll take there at Hayden, when we determine what's appropriate, will give a higher level of comfort to our people working there, and we
Yeah,
certainly
it's
want to.
been probably close to a year and a half now since we looked at it down there, and
Okay.
we need to start acting on it.
Okay, well, the chair entertain a motion to do as stated in this item 27, and that's to get the numbers together to improve handicap access to the Hayden Annex, to provide security measures through some remodeling in that office, and to further do the remodeling that's required at the engineering office building. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Have that motion, do we have a second? Okay, and we'll hope that we'll be able, provided nothing happens that we can't, that we can come back in April and consider the cost of those. Okay, number 28 is the item that we added to this agenda to consider a license agreement for limited private property access between the Blount County Commission and Mr. Sam Gillis. authorize the chairman to execute this agreement pursuant to Commissioner Armstrong's recommendation regarding the water issue there.
Yeah, we got a pond that's, the spillway is damaged, and we thought the actual trouble was in our county pipe, but if you go up Smoke Rise Trail by Phil's Grill and going through the four-way, there's two ponds on each side of the road, and we've been having to go up there and put barrels up. The water's actually crossing the roadway, and it's been as high as 6 inches at times, so it's a definite hazard. It's starting to wash the road out from under the pipe. So, to ease the water and get the level down, we're gonna have to go on private property and do some work on the spillway.
Okay, any questions for Commissioner on that?
Commissioner, is that the one that you added a pipe to about 5 years ago?
No, this one's.
It's a different
It's different.
area?
Yeah. No, we put, that actual spillway goes under a county road.
Yeah.
The one I put in, yeah.
That was around Mountainwood Lake?
No, that one was in, Lake Nola, but it's working fine. We put it trash.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, remember that. So we've already done something like this. Like I said, this will just be on private property here, because like I said, we got a road hazard, plus it's damaging the road.
And Mr. Chairman, obviously that's unorthodox, but there's, in the document that you're approving, there's a finding of a public purpose being served, and so just be aware that's part of that document.
And normally, me and Scott talked about it, we just do a temporary construction easement, but with us working on this spillway, he wanted to do a little more, and that's the reason it's brought it to.
That's not holding the county responsible for the.
Right, there are indemnities in the document, the property owners understanding, if they sign that it's a one-time deal, and it's sort of, it's somewhat of an emergency situation, since it's literally washing the road out.
But I will say this, with some of the beavers that I've seen, I've got one, we're trying to find the property owners on Gwynn's Cove Road. With all this flooding we've had, it actually got up over the spillway and the pond bank and come over into the roadway and caused some damage, and it's due to the spillway being stopped up by beaver dams. So we're we get much more rain like this, a lot of us are gonna be looking at having to go on private property and clean some beaver dams out to keep from damaging the road. So
We dealt with that in District 2 in
Yes, I've got an issue just like that Dustin's aware of up there.
Okay, well, gentlemen, before I entertain a motion here on item 28, John's called my attention that I did not ask you to vote on item 27. We had a motion, second, and discussion. Let me back up to 27 and make sure that we did record a vote, that all was in favor of item 27, that you please say aye. Aye. Okay, those opposed, no. Okay, that's make sure we covered that. Okay, item 28, we'd entertain a motion to authorize this license agreement between private landowner and the county to address this situation as described by Commissioner Armstrong that is deteriorating the roadway there. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? Not all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Okay, we'll move on to reports from county engineer. We had on our agenda a request for variance and preliminary plat for Harmony Hill subdivision, and our lengthy discussion Thursday on that, Dustin, was hoped that the engineer or somebody might be present here to discuss that, but it appears that that's not the case. So, okay, so I'd like to recognize you, Dustin, and or Commissioner Washburn there to further elaborate on this situation. Is there anything that you need to bring to our attention?
The variance request from RBG Partners is for a 2-to-1 back slope on the northern side of Carter Ridge Road for approximately 125 feet. And the preliminary plat was brought to us. Our subdivision regulations require that variance is approved at the same time as a preliminary plat. So they're presenting that to the commission to take a vote on.
Okay. And Mr. Washburn,
One thing I have to say about it, I just passed that piece of paper out. That's from ADM, and that's the problems that they've had with it. We're gonna have another whole file that ADM has gave me, and Miss Jack can have it or whatever for the records, but there's a lot of stuff going wrong with it.
So would it be your opinion that until they address these issues with ADM, that it might not require
Can I
any
make a
action?
motion?
Certainly, sure.
I think we need to have a motion that I don't approve the plat because of based on, I'm voting no based on the variance they're asking for. And then if they come back, and then we'll address the ADM situation and see if it's got any better.
Okay, so Commissioner, you're offering a motion that their request for variance and preliminary plat be denied.
Denied.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion now? Not all those in favor of the motion, second, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Okay, that will take care of item 29. Now 30 is consider a resolution that would approve the vacation of a portion of Rimlap Drive. We had a public hearing on that on Thursday. Commissioner Washburn, is there anything you'd like to say in regard to that before we entertain a motion?
I think everybody's good on that.
Okay. Mr. Stewart?
There's one additional portion of the road that may come back at a later time to be vacated. Right now, it's in a lady's name, and she's sold the property to Rimlap Water, so that may be coming before the commission. Right now, we're just approving the portion that has Mr. Tim Ingram's property adjoining this portion. We've gotten several calls from the Rimlap Cemetery Board. We're not vacating the portion in front of their property.
Okay, all right. So the resolution 2020-0303 as proposed in our agenda today would just cover that portion for which the public hearing was held on Thursday.
And if we come back at a later time and vacate the additional portion that is adjacent to the Rimlap Water, that will not affect the cemetery board either. So they will still have full access in front of their property to Rimlap Drive.
Okay, okay. So the chair would entertain a motion that resolution 2020-0303 to vacate this portion of Rimlap Drive, subject to the public hearing held last Thursday, be approved. Do we have that motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? Not all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Okay, very good. So we would recognize our county attorney.
Which I had a request in for an executive session. I would anticipate we'll be in executive session for 30 to 40 minutes and wouldn't anticipate any action being taken. Thank you.
Okay, well, you hear that recommendation, gentlemen, the chair would entertain a motion.
So moved.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Commissioner Armstrong?
Yes.
Commissioner Payne?
Yes.
Commissioner Calvert? Commissioner Washburn?
Yes.
Okay, it's a unanimous vote. We will be adjourned for executive session as recommended by our council.